Welcome back. Well, we've just had the 10-year anniversary of the Bali bombing, which once again threw the spotlight on one of the heroes of that event, Professor Fiona Wood, the acclaimed burn surgeon who used spray-on skin to treat many of the victims. It's been widely used in the UK with great success, and it's still commonly used in Perth, and there's now trials going in the US, funded by the Defence Department. I'm going to find out about that. The company behind it is called Avita Medical, and the US CEO, Bill Dolphin, or US-based CEO, Bill Dolphin, is currently visiting Australia. He joins me now here in Sydney, as does Professor Wood in Perth. Welcome to you both.
Thank you, Janine. Pleasure to be here.
Thank you. Professor Wood, I'll speak to you first because I think it was interesting. We had all that publicity for the 10th anniversary, looking backwards, and I'm going to look backwards before I look forwards about what it was great what happened, where we've come in that 10 years with this technology and where you hope it will go. But I guess first I better say, better ask you, one of the criticisms when I've done stories like this, one of the criticisms in Australia is how hard it is to commercialise things like this. Just tell me about how you've got to where you are on this now.
Whoa, that's a big question. I mean, when I look back, it's more like a 20-year journey to this point, and certainly Marie Stone and I started in the early 1990s. The first patient that we sprayed skin cells on, was in about 94, 95. And always trying to develop the technology. And it wasn't, I guess, until the late 90s, early 2000, when we thought that we could move to a situation where we could make the technology available and possibly allow ourselves to go forward with our research by making it available and by royalties through commercialisation. So Marie and I assigned our intellectual property to the Research Foundation and established then the clinical cell culture, which is now Avita Medical, and off we went. It was a naive sort of journey in the early stages. We didn't understand really the hurdles that we would face. But 10 years later, it was certainly started to gain ground. The traction is there, and it's certainly worth it.
And how do you find it being from your side, from the medical, the development side, now doing the commercial side? What are the challenges for you, or do you pretty well just concentrate on your side, or do you have to be aware of it now? I mean, I'm thinking you've done something like this. Obviously, you want to see it used as widely as possible throughout the world, don't you?
Oh, absolutely. I think the whole point is to make technology available, and it's exciting. And certainly we feel it's exciting here, and the opportunities to improve are always there. But you're quite right. I have absolutely no commercial training at all. And the key is to link with really good people. And you've got one right next to you.
Oh, that's a great segue, Professor Wood. So Bill Dolphin, there you go. No, good plug there. Tell me what attracted you, what your role, why you're involved in this? What grabbed you? I mean, apart from the obvious, it's doing fantastic things.
Yeah, it's an extraordinary technology, and it really fundamentally changes the way medicine is being practiced. The research that Dr. Wood has done and the outcomes have just been brilliant, and I wanted to be part of it, frankly.
But there's a lot of things. I talk to biotech companies here. I mean, people are, you know, curing cancer, doing lots of things, but it's a challenge. I compare it to the mining industry. High risk, you know, high reward, but a lot of them fall by the wayside. What was it about this that you obviously believed could be commercialised?
Fundamentally, the technology works. We've seen the results in many cases, and as we start to look and expand beyond burns, we see huge opportunities. There's been now close to 5,000 patients that have been treated with ReCell, all with very, very positive results. We're pushing away from burns. Burns was where it began, as you alluded to. But subsequent to that, we've been looking at fields ranging from the chronic wounds, so venous, diabetic ulcers, all the way up to cosmetics, so wrinkle revisions and acne scarring.
I'll have to ask Fiona Wood there. Have you used it? I won't ask on the cosmetic side, but are you using it in other areas as well as burns? Because you get the emphasis on burns because of your experience.
Yes, I'm a plastic surgeon, so my origins, I just work in extreme rebuild as opposed to extreme makeover. But in years past, certainly I have done so in both chronic wounds and cosmetic, a small amount, just to explore the boundaries of that technology. But scar revision is a huge thing for us. And so trying to change the colour of the scar, trying to blend it, is really important. So not only do I use it in the acute setting, but also in scar revision and reconstruction down the track.
And you're talking to someone who cares about it, having had an operation on a broken shoulder, my poor viewers have seen, and, you know, surgeon did a lovely job on the scar, but they are, you know, We're women. They're not good. Now, tell me, being based in the US, I've talked to quite a few chairmen of biotechs. The idea, I guess, is that's where the money is, that's where the holy grail, FDA approval, all that, and you need someone on the ground. Is that the idea?
Well, certainly the US is the largest single market in the world. We are in Europe. We're in China now, and the US is the next big opportunity for us. We're pushing through with the FDA, as you mentioned. And as you also mentioned, we have funding from the U.S. Department of Defense.
Now, that's interesting.
Oh, well, it's a huge endorsement for the product.
It's fantastic.
But, you know, certainly,
is that because of Iraq victims, war victims they want to see?
In large part, that's right. Many of the soldiers that now are wounded, badly wounded, would have died 10 years ago. They're living. And as Fiona was mentioning, you know, we have to be able to do the reconstruction, not just rebuild, but also have these people go out and be able to live fully functioning, normal lives. And part of that is visual appearance. So just the wounds, the scarring has to be removed as well.
Fiona, I don't want to get you in trouble and be too political, but can you see our Department of Defence ever doing anything like that? Have you ever had talks with them?
I think we're very fortunate in that to this point in time we haven't had a great deal of need with respect to our servicemen, which I think, as I say, we're very fortunate. But certainly we're always available to treat our guys if needs be, and certainly we worked with them very closely in Bali, and because they were pivotal in that response and pivotal in the Ashmore Reef more recently. Yes.
All right, that was just a bid for the Department of Defence to give some money, but that is something I hadn't heard of before. But obviously the US is your next area, but you're having real success already. I mean, you're further down the track in the UK. It's very popular, and you've got 5 European research centres have been given the green light.
That's correct. In Europe, we are cleared for sale. We have CE marking, so we actually are commercial. We're selling over there. Several centres now that we've been working closely with to develop the product for other applications beyond burns are widely using it. And the report you allude to is for ulcers primarily. We have 5 centres which we're starting up and going through a small study, about 80 patients, to look at the ulcer treatment.
Okay, from a CEO's point of view, what's the, I mean, I suppose it is, as you say, the US, the FDA, what you're doing there, but what are the challenges, what are the priorities ahead now?
The adoption is the big issue right now. It fundamentally changes the way we have to think about treating patients. You know, burn surgeons are used to treating these critical situations. They know how to treat them with this graft, and now we're asking them, instead of taking a nice piece of skin and putting it on, to take this suspension which contains cells, which you cannot see, spray it, cover it, and it will grow back. So it's a big leap of faith, and part of that requires that we do the marketing studies and then get out and have more and more clinical results, which we are doing now.
I should point out, of course, you're a listed company here in Australia. Do you have listing elsewhere?
Yes, we've recently listed in the US on the OTCQX market, and that's AVMXY.
Is that competitive to raise money over there in this space?
Well, we'll be seeing. You know, a good reason to go over to the US is, of course, to start being involved with some of the partners in the investment community there.
Good, you've got the Department of Defence. That's a nice imprimatur to have. They're not good, as we've noticed at the moment with fiscal cliffs, about handing out money, are they?
Well, we'll see. No, actually, you know, we just got an up on the funding, about $880,000, and given this very difficult environment, it's a real endorsement.
Excellent. Fiona, can I ask you, we're having budget problems here in Australia. It's something I've been talking about to some of the companies here. There was a freeze for a while on R&D, and a lot of medical groups and hospitals were affected. Were you affected at all?
I think that with respect to research and development and our funding, it's always tight, and certainly the majority of the funding, I'm a researcher day in, day out, and the majority of the funding comes from sort of guys on the street, the philanthropists around us, the generous people around us. And more than competitive grants in through that system. That gives us an opportunity for progression at an accelerated level, so that the pie has always been tight. I think if we're really serious about taking our ideas in this country and making them fly internationally, then we need all stratas, our government, our sort of private, and our communities behind us. And if we bring those three things together, that's when we'll fly.
Now you're talking my language, I say, and you're sitting there in the heart of it. We don't just dig dirt out of the ground. We want to be a clever country, and this is really important, isn't it? As you are proving,
Absolutely.
This is an area we can lead the world. So great to have you on the show tonight, and I wish you all the best with this.
Thank you very much indeed.
Look forward to talking to you again when it's going well. And Bill Dolphin, thank you very much, because you're only in Sydney for a night. You're off,
I'm off
over
again.
there to Perth, and good luck with it again. We'd like to catch up and hear that it's doing well.
Oh, you will. Keep a watch.
These are the success stories. Not that I'm against mining, for goodness sake, but it is good to hear these as well. So thanks to Dr. Fiona Wood and Bill Dolphin. The company is called Avita Medical. Have a look at it. That's it for tonight. Do join me again tomorrow night, won't you, for our last show of the week. Bye.